What's up everyone, Art here, and today I'm introducing and installing a part a lot of you have been asking for. It's the OVERTAKE Charge Pipe for the VA WRX. I'm sure most of you watching this video are familiar with what a charge pipe for the 2015 through 21 WRX is, but what I'm going to do is unbox this. We're going to get under the hood. I'll show you where the factory one goes and show you a step-by-step install guide on this one. So let's see what comes in the new OVERTAKE kit. Obviously we got a package by card right here, some packaging materials right on top, and then we start getting to the contents of the charge pipe. There is the pipe itself, this one in red. I'm going to show you the other colors we have available. And then you've got all of your couplers. Here's the main piece right here. You've got a smaller one, an adapter piece. We'll take all of these out in the package I'll show you. And of course, a baggie of clamps. You can see right here what the complete kit looks like, and we can break it down by the components. We've got a couple of couplers right here, and you can see these are 5-ply fiber reinforced, and the main coupler here is also wire reinforced in the center, so it's pretty rigid but still has nice give to make install easier. We've got a billet aluminum adapter right here with an O-ring that's going to seat in there nicely. I'll show you where that goes. Of course, upgraded hardware and clamps right here, and then the main event, the charge pipe itself. This is aluminum, so it's nice and lightweight, and it's got a really nice wrinkled powder coat on it. But the really cool thing is, you guys know that we usually offer red and black. We do have the black version right there. And for the first time, I'm debuting the OVERTAKE blue version. Now this is a powder coat we just started using, and you guys are gonna see throughout a lot of parts for the VA and VB chassis. So this is the first of many. You guys can pick this up as part of this kit, or stick with the original red and black if you choose. Since this is the first of many powder coat blue parts, I think I'm gonna install this version in our car. And just to show you guys where it goes, your factory intercooler is right here, and then your factory charge pipe is this skinny plastic piece that goes down to your turbo inlet. We're gonna start taking some of these components off, get this charge pipe out of here and thrown away, and I'll show you exactly how this is gonna mount into place. Getting the top side loosened up is super easy. First of all, you wanna remove the intake snorkus right here. So just a couple of clamps up front. I'm gonna pull the engine cover off as well. You guys don't necessarily need to do this, but it shows better on camera if I do. Just a couple clips back here, and then this just pulls right up. And what that reveals is the clamp right here. Just loosen that up. You can just leave this clamp loose for now, and that's all we need to do up here. Now I'm gonna get the car up in the air and show you where most of the main action is gonna take place. Now that we're down here, I can show you exactly where we're gonna be working. It's gonna be around the turbo inlet area. In order to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, I'm gonna pull the skid plate off, just a couple of 12 mils. Now, if you're smart like we know you are already equipped with the OVERTAKE inlet, boost controller, and post math. These are the things that we need to remove. I'm gonna start with the clamp on the post math. Next up, I just need to undo all the stuff that's holding the inlet in. Now, we have a couple installation videos. We could throw links up here for the inlet itself and the 3-port boost controller. I'm gonna start with the hoses coming off of the boost controller. First one here. Just remember the routing for it. It's not too complicated. There's one there, and there's one back here for the internal wastegate. Now next up, we want to disconnect some of the lines up here, starting with this connector. We can get this PCV connection out of the way, and it reveals the evap hose. Just pull up on that. The next big thing you're gonna have is the BPV right here. Now there's a couple of connections. You can see some clamps right here to the inlet. But what I'm gonna do is disconnect the larger clamp up here that goes to the charge pipe. You guys are gonna have a hard time seeing this, but underneath your car, you will see it. And it'll pull away with the inlet itself. With everything loosened around the inlet, now we can pull this off. It's just a couple of 10 mils, the obvious one up front here, and then one behind. Now pulling these is easy, reinstalling it, you just want to make sure that you're not cross-threading anything, especially back here, but we'll get to that. And don't be like me and forget the hose on top of your bypass valve that is just gonna pop off. You guys aren't gonna see it on camera, but it's right there. Then once you've got everything out, just disconnect your 3-port boost controller. We've got the factory charge pipe fully disconnected from the turbocharger. So I'm gonna get the car down, pull the OE charge pipe out from the top, and then we'll do a little comparison before we install the overtake unit. The charge pipe is all loose now. You can see it just pops off that joint right there, and then off of the intercooler, if you give it a little tug. Now you do need to finagle it out of here a bit, but as long as you've got everything disconnected, it should come out eventually. And there it is, the crappy factory plastic pipe. Chances are it's going to be cracked at some point here, especially if you've got some miles on the car. But the biggest difference I want to show you, I'm going to get on the bench, the diameter between our charge pipe and the factory one. You can see the differences straight away. But before we get into those, let's talk about what the charge pipe does. Now, as you saw, this flange right here mounts the turbo, and charged air goes through the charge pipe into the intercooler. Now, the problem with the factory one is it has cracking issues over time, especially right here in the accordion area. And you can see just how narrow it is right here. So we can actually get a caliper on it and put some numbers behind it. So I've got about 38 millimeters OD on that one. And if we take a look at the overtake pipe, which is consistently the same outside diameter, I've got about 63, 64 millimeters. So that's about double the width. Now the other really nice thing, you can see on the factory couplers right here, they start getting really saggy, kind of folded over, and we see a lot of leaks coming from here. That's not gonna happen with the overtake unit on both sides because we provide a coupler for this side as well as the inlet and turbocharger side. Now the nice thing about this unit is you do not require a tune to install it, but once you start raising your boost pressure, especially once you've got an inlet, a 3-port boost controller, an intake system equipped, then this pipe is gonna be able to handle all of that airflow, unlike the factory one, which is gonna have a restriction point right there. Outside of all the performance benefits, one of the other things that's worth mentioning is just the aesthetics of it. You can see a lot of this pipe in your engine bay once you lift the hood, and the fact that we have it in red, black, and now the overtake blue, it's just gonna be a nice splash of color in addition to all the performance benefits. Now the next thing we need to do to start reinstalling is grab the flange right here, throw this thick O-ring on, let's get back under the car. Now that we're back down here, it wouldn't be a bad idea to clean this flange off just a little bit, make sure nothing falls in there. And then we can put our flange on with the supplied hardware, a couple of 12 mil fresh bolts. And now we can just tighten these down snugly. There's not necessarily a specific torque spec for these, but just go back and forth a little bit till that large O-ring starts to crush on here. Don't over torque them, you don't want to snap off a bolt down here. We've got the flange all snug down. You can see the O-ring is nice and squished in there. And now we can throw the larger coupler in. I just preloaded it with 2 of the smaller clamps in the kit. If you feed it through, you can get it seated right on that flange. This large overtake coupler seats on here really nicely. You just want to bottom it out on the flange, and then you can rotate it until this passage right here is parallel with the inlet of the turbo. And now we can just tighten this clamp up along the flange. Now it's time to throw this inlet assembly back in. The first thing I'm going to do is reconnect the wiring for the 3-port boost controller. I want to make sure not to forget that, and then it clicks in all the way. And then we're going to seat this assembly into the coupler on the BPV up here, and then onto the turbo flange. The BPV seats into the coupler really nicely. Now, the only thing you don't want to forget to do is put the hose back on top of the BPV. It just slides right in, and then you can tighten the clamp down to the coupler. Now what we can do is put these 10 mils back into the inlet to the turbo, And this is where I was cautioning you not to cross thread, so just hand tighten these. The back one is the worst, and if you cross thread that, you're gonna have a bad day. Now we can reverse and start installing all the stuff we took off. So we've got the evap hose up there, that just slides right on. And then you've got the PCV connector right there. That's just gonna slide right onto the bracket here. And of course, don't forget your 3-port boost controller hoses, one for boost reference and one for the wastegate. Now, if you guys are doing it right, you've got an OVERTAKE 3-port boost controller equipped. So I just want to reference the lines to make sure you've got them in right. That middle port, you'll see a little number 3 on it. That's going to go to your boost source right there. Then off to the side, number 2 is going to go to your wastegate just underneath. And then you won't mess with number 1. That just goes right back to the inlet. We are all done down here outside of the post-MAF hose. I'm going to slip that on, and then I'm going to meet you guys up top to finish the rest of the charge pipe install. Routing the OVERTAKE charge pipe in is going to be pretty self-explanatory. The longer side right here is going to seat into the coupler. We're going to want to make sure to put our clamp on before we do that. And then we have our other coupler on this side with the 2 remaining clamps, and that's going to go on the intercooler. I recommend seating it on the intercooler side first. It's going to be a little bit easier to install down on the lower coupler. This is the point of the install where you need to take a little bit of time. There's some play on either side of the couplers, and one of the most important things is you don't want the back side of the pipe right here contacting anything. So once you've kind of got it seated on the bottom, what I could do is pull the top out just a little bit, make sure I've got some clearance behind here, and then you can proceed to tighten all the clamps. Make sure you got all 3 clamps tightened up nicely. This pipe is going to see boost pressure, so you don't want it blowing off once you take the car out for a drive. Now, do take it out on a test drive, make sure everything's good, and you can also give the pipe a little wiggle, just make sure there's no metal on metal noise, because that would mean you're contacting something. In our case, we adjusted it really nicely, so it seats well on here. The last thing for me to do is throw the cover and the snorkus back on, and we're going to be all done. There you have it. You can see how nice this looks all installed with all the other stuff on it. Now, we did make the deliberate choice to not put a bunch of OVERTAKE advertising on this, so you can see the color and a little bit of the logo here on the coupler, but otherwise we just wanted to leave it as is and let the part speak for itself. You guys did see that we have the OVERTAKE blue, a red, and a black version, so it's up to you how you want to show this off in your engine bay. If you guys want to pick up the full kit, it's now available either in the link in our description or straight on overtakeusa.com. Now, of course, if you guys are enjoying what we're doing here with OVERTAKE, just follow along at OVERTAKE USA on all our social medias.